So, this afternoon we want to talk to you a little bit about visualization. I think the biggest thing that I learned, and I learned it from Angie, who's behind the camera, is that it's just no good to go out to want to be a photographer and just to take, you know, little snapshots. You have to think about, what is it that I want to do? Have I got something that I want to say with my photographs? And so there are many times when Angie and I are driving around in our Land Rover in the Maasai Mara, and there isn't actually a shot that we've seen at that particular moment in time. But there are lots of opportunities to start to build a photograph in our imagination. And I think that's what really makes stepping up to becoming a photographer, from going from just reacting to what you see, by actually starting to think about, how can I actually participate in the taking of a picture? Well, let's give you an example. There are some beautiful fallen trees, dead trees in the Maasai Mara, particularly around Musiara Marsh, where the marshlands are that we follow. And some of those trees are just spectacular. They're just like works of art. They're like sculptures, but there's something missing. That extra ingredient that makes the picture. It could be that we drive past a particular tree and we think to ourselves, just imagine if there was a leopard lying on that tree. Imagine if there was some other creature, maybe it's a bird, a lilac-breasted roller, that comes to perch on a part of the tree, hawking insects coming back up onto the tree. And then you see and you think to yourself, you know what? That's the shot. So now you're actually participating. You're thinking about, what camera and lens would I use? Because if it's a fallen tree, is it going to be a wide angle shot? Taking in the whole landscape? Because it's terribly tempting, particularly on safari, to want to capture portraits. You want a lovely shot of Scarface, the magnificent lion that we portray in our fine art gallery. It might be a leopard on that tree, but often you actually have to be thinking to yourself, how can I actually make the shot? I'll give you another example. The number of times that we go out during the dry season, when the wildebeest migration streams into Musiara Marsh, and you see those wonderful, endless, sweeping lines of animals coming down over the edge where the stream, where the marsh actually emanates from this perennial spring. And they come down over that rocky escarpment and they move down in these wonderful lines down into the marsh. And you think to yourself, okay, fantastic, there's the shot. But the trouble is, it's very tempting to keep taking the same shot. And I can remember saying to Angie one time, oh my goodness, look at the wildebeest. And she said, yes. I said, they look so spectacular. Just like ants filing down into the marsh. And I was thinking, let's get down here, we can look up and build a picture. And she said, not today. She said, we've got 10 minutes of beautiful backlight. And she'd seen that there were egrets, these cattle egrets, these white, they're members of the heron family. So the white ones we call egrets. And they were jumping up onto the backs of the wildebeest as they filed through the grass. And they were hawking frogs, grasshoppers, mole crickets, which were disturbed by the movements of the animal's feet. And Angie saw the shot, and she got this beautiful picture of two egrets with their wings flared as they sort of competed for space on the back of the wildebeest, and then jumped down to feed on the insects and the frogs on the ground below. So she saw a picture which in the end was a wildebeest bottom, but with this beautiful backlight. You could see the light coming through the wings of the egrets. And so she had created the shot. She'd seen the potential, the wildebeest, as a transport system for these egrets, which were just moving along. And then she said, come on, let's get the car around so as we're shooting into the light. So during that first 10 minutes and the last 10 minutes of light, when the light is golden and it's low, that's the time to go side lit or backlit and capture those wonderfully emotive, moody images. So what we're saying is, when you go out, when you become a photographer, you actually start to think about the pictures that you want to take, the pictures that aren't staring you in the face. And yes, of course, if we drive out in the morning and there is a leopard lying on a tree, on one of those dead trees, the big thing is yes, we react to it, but in our mind, we've already thought, what lens are we going to use? What position do we want to put the car to make the most of the shot? What are our settings going to be? Because you might literally get a couple of seconds, if it's a shy leopard, before it gets up and comes down out of that tree and disappears into the forest. So you are ready for when the shot happens, and you've already seen it in your mind. That is the wonder of photography. That is what being a photographer is really about. Visualization. I never stop. I'm always saying to Angie, just imagine if there was this, that, whatever, over there. And so you're practicing the whole time, and it doesn't have to be a fancy camera. Yes, we love those big Canon lenses, we love our wide-angle lenses, but sometimes literally you just reach into your pocket, little pocket camera, little power shot, and you just snap away, and you learn the basics of what it takes to get great pictures. And then you come to the Maasai Mara and you go on safari and you have the time of your life, and you just think how easy it is. But it isn't always. That's the trick. Be prepared. Have the shot up here and then execute it.